मॉर्निंग 8 से मत करिए, 10 से कर दो ना। ठीक है, 8:30 से कर दो, चलेगा। 8:30 से 12, 8:30 से 12, हाँ। Hello everyone, please let me know once you are here already. I can see many of you joining. I guess Sangeeta, good evening. Waiting for others to message me once they are here already. Please let me know once you're here. Waiting for your messages. We have few topics to be covered. Reality hitter, good evening sir, good evening. Others waiting for your messages. Aditi, hello. Tanuja, good evening. What about others? What about others? Yeah, hello. Nandini, good evening. Waiting still, maybe 30 seconds for others to join in. Meha Jain, good evening. Okay, I've already around 9 messages. Not sure about others who have joined in. Anyways, we'll start. So as per the discussion, I will just see what we are supposed to do. So what exactly you messaged me, I'm covering those topics, and those topics were corporate wheel theory, sales of goods act unit number 3, and sales of goods act unit number 4. These were the topics that you told me to be covered. So I'll be covering basically these topics. I'll repeat one more time the agenda for today, which is corporate wheel theory of Companies Act, then sales of goods act unit number 3, and then again sales of goods act unit number 4. This is what the agenda for the day is. Aditi Singh, I hope we are now clear. I have discussed. So this is the topic that we'll be covering first, corporate wheel theory. Apart from this, SOGA, sales of goods act unit number 3 and unit number 4. This is basically what we are covering today. I hope we are good. Okay, shall we start then? Shall we start then? Expecting you have liked the video already, can we start? Expecting you have liked the video already, can we start? Sir, when will you provide the book? See, you will get the PDF of the book today itself. You will get the PDF of the book today itself. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. This is a concise book which is, I would say, 200 pages. You will get one more book further in the month of January, which will be only of 50 pages. That 50 pages will cover basically the whole of the syllabus. So don't worry. This is the concise book, which is 200 pages. And one more book you will get in the month of January, which will only be of 50 pages, covering again the 100% of the syllabus. Okay, so don't worry. Not waiting any further, we are starting. Okay. So one of the students I had asked in the previous lecture that, sir, please clarify with respect to the corporate wheel theory. So here we are starting now. It will be made available to you through PDF by Sheikh Sir. Okay, don't worry. Or you can drop your phone number in the chat box after the lecture and we will send it to you. Or just type us that where can we get the PDF and we'll give you the link. Okay, don't worry. Mukesh, good morning sir. It is not morning, I guess. We are at 7:49 p.m. So I guess it should be good evening, Mr. Mukesh. Starting now. The concept says corporate wheel theory. Important topic obviously. What we are discussing right now is, so we have company on one side and then we have a curtain. We have a curtain. And on the other side of the curtain, we have the members. On the other side of the curtain, we basically have members. So this basically signifies that, sir, company and the members are separate legal entity. They are separate legal entity. And that is what is known as corporate wheel. That is what is known as corporate wheel. Which basically means that in case of wrongdoings by the company, members cannot be held liable. In case of wrongdoings by the company, the members cannot be held liable. That is what the concept is. Separate legal entity. I think it is very easy. So conclusion again, third time I'm speaking the same thing, that members cannot be held liable for the wrongdoings of the company. Only company can be held liable because company and members are two separate persons, and company has its own existence, as in it has a separate legal entity. Now this is corporate wheel. Okay, case law very famous, I guess we know, all of us know it already. Salomon versus Salomon and Company Limited, I guess we know it already. Moving further, the next topic says lifting of corporate wheel. This is the next topic, lifting of corporate wheel. I guess it is very much obvious now that lifting of corporate wheel basically means company and the members will be treated one and the same. Company and members will be treated one and the same. As in, now members can be held liable for the wrongdoings of the company. Members can now be held liable for the wrongdoings of the company. So basically, the curtain that we had, we are disregarding it. So basically, company and members are now one and the same. And this is lifting of corporate wheel. So I hope we are very much capable to understand the concept, at least, that what was corporate wheel, what was the conclusion, what is lifting of corporate wheel, and what is the conclusion. I guess we are very much clear with this now. Sir, please explain Salomon versus Salomon Company Limited case, sir. I have given you the conclusion already of the Salomon case, which basically was that Salomon was a sole proprietor. He was running a business which was basically selling the leather shoes. He felt like, let's scale up the business, and he formed a company. After a few years, the company went in liquidation because of general trade depression, and basically had to sell all the assets and pay off the liabilities. But rather than paying out the outside liabilities, he basically took all the money himself, because there were an element of secured debentures. Which Salomon had of the company. Now, because he was secured creditor, he basically took away all the money that was left, and nothing was given to the creditors. Now, creditors were complaining that how can Salomon take all the money? Salomon and his company are one and the same person. So rather than him taking money, we should get the money. This is what creditors were saying. But the judge said, Sir McNaughton, the judge said that no, company is different and distinct from its members. And because they are two distinct persons, and because Salomon has secured debentures, he will be first paid. Are we clear? General contents, I tried to explain your question. That, sir, what was the case? I told you the whole case in brief. General contents, I hope we are clear now. Please let me know once you have understood the topic. I'll wait for your message. Meanwhile, this is the case that we did, corporate wheel theory. Okay. Then we have this lifting of corporate wheel. We basically have 5 case laws. The first case law is Daimler Company Limited versus Continental Tire and Rubber Company. The second case that we have is Dinshaw Manekji Petit versus Commissioner of Income Tax. The third case that we have is Workmen of Associated Rubber Industry Limited versus Associated Rubber Industry Limited. The fourth case that we have is Merchandise Transport Limited versus British Transport Commission. And the last one and the most important one that we have is Guilford Motor Company versus Horn. Here we are in front of you, all the 5 case laws. Now you must understand all these cases, especially 2 of them are very important, which are being asked in the exams, which is the second one, that is Dinshaw Manekji Petit versus CIT, and the last one, that is the 5th one, Guilford Motor Company versus Horn. These 2 are important case laws. Okay, let's move further. So here we are with the case. So we have this company, Continental Tire and Rubber Company. Okay, this is a company which is formed in England with all the shareholders German except one. Except for one, all of them were Germans, the shareholders, and all the directors were also German. This company basically sold the tires. To Daimler Company Limited, which was a company in England. Now the problem that we had was, sir, there was World War I going on, and the Contract Act says that trading with enemy is void ab initio. So matter basically went to the court, where the Continental Tire and Rubber Company was saying that, sir, we agree that we are Germans and we are at war with England. We are enemy, no doubt. But the company has a separate legal entity And because company is a separate legal entity, you cannot classify a company as an enemy company. So basically, we were fighting with respect to the topic that whether a company can be a friend or a foe, whether a company can be an enemy or a friend. This was the agenda. And the lawmaker said that because everything which is going inside the company was in the hands of Germans, the company will also be a German company. And basically what we did is lifting of corporate wheel. We basically looked behind this Continental Tire and Rubber company and found that all of them are Germans, and hence lifting of corporate wheel took place. Here in front of you, the whole case law is explained in your book as well. I tried to summarize it and give you the conclusion that the lifting of corporate wheel happened because we looked beyond the company and saw the shareholders and the directors who were basically Germans, who were our England's enemy, and hence the company was characterized as an enemy company, and hence the judgment was that yes, this contract is void ab initio. Simple. Not very important. This topic is the most important. Here in front of you, this topic is the most important, which basically talks about Dinshaw Managing Patrick versus Commissioner of Income Tax. So I'm basically presenting to you the pictures so that you are able to remember it very easily. So this guy basically had investments in many companies. This guy basically had investments in many of the companies. Now, because he had so many investments, he was getting returns from those companies, returns in the form of dividend and interest. Now, because of this, he had to pay a huge amount of tax. Because of this, he had to pay a huge amount of tax, which he was not liking personally. So what he does is he floats 4 different private companies. He floats 4 different private companies. Here we go. And all the interest and dividend that he was receiving was transferred to these companies. So basically now these companies were receiving the interest and the dividend. Okay, sir, what next? This money was taken back by this Dinshaw Managing Patrick in the form of a loan. Here we are. This money was taken back in the form of a loan. Now we all understand that on loans there are no taxes. On loans there are no taxes. So basically money was being received by Dinshaw Managing Patrick directly of a loan, and on loan we don't have any taxes. Now the problem was, sir, these 4 private companies had as such no business. They were only the companies on pen and paper. They were shell companies. This was sham, fraud, you can say, because these companies had no business on its own. So which basically means these companies were formed just to evade the tax. These companies were formed just to evade the tax. And we basically had lifting of corporate wheel. Sir, how exactly lifting of corporate wheel? We looked behind these 4 private companies and saw that it is basically Dinshaw Managing Patrick who wants to evade the tax, and hence lifting of corporate wheel happened because we looked beyond the 4 private companies and we saw that these companies were devised just to evade the tax. Here we are. Are we clear? I'm using very simple language and pictorial presentation so that you are able to understand the concept in one go. Please tell me if we are clear. Please tell me if we are clear. In each and every case, I'm telling to tell you that what exactly happened and what exactly is lifting of corporate wheel. Are we clear with both the cases? Please tell me. I'm waiting. Are we clear with both the cases? Please tell me. So the hack basically is, in exam, if you happen to see that there is evasion of tax, then the only case law that should be striking in your mind is Dinshaw Managing Patrick versus Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay, so I have a message from General Contents who says yes sir, understood. Meha Jain says yes sir. Sangeeta says clear sir. Okay, 3-4 messages already. Not sure about others. Not sure about others. Okay, the third one. Workmen of Associated Rubber Industry Limited versus Associated Rubber Industry Limited. Let's move forward. So we basically have a company A. We have a company A who has made investments in company B. Who has made investment in company B. Now from this company B, the A company is receiving the income because the investments that I have made will obviously be followed by returns. So all the returns were basically being shown in the profit and loss account of A company. Now because of this, A company was supposed to be giving bonus to its workmen, bonus to the employees. Company A is not liking it, the bonus being paid to the employees. So what company A does is, all the investment that A company had in the B company is being transferred to another company called C. So A now holds investments in C and C holds investment in B. A holds investment in C and now further C now holds investment in B. So it is very obvious that now the returns will be received by C and not A, and this is what happened. So because of this arrangement, we can say that sir, profit and loss account of A was now lighter. It was not having so much of income. Now because of which the bonus was not being paid. Because of which the bonus was not being paid by A company to its workmen. Workmen realize this, that there is some another company called C in which has as such no business on its own. C company had no business of its own. It was just made to evade the bonus. It was just made to evade the bonus. So it is very obvious now. Maybe you can text me once if you can understand. Where will the lifting of corporate wheel happen? Where will the lifting of corporate wheel happen? A, B or C? Can you please answer my question? Where will lifting of corporate wheel happen? A, C or B? What is your answer? What is your answer? Can you please explain to me? What is your answer? I am waiting. I am waiting. What is your answer? I'll wait maybe 15 seconds. Okay, an answer from Meha Jain. General contents. 2 answers. General contents. Okay, Meha Jain, I guess, deleted the answer. Waiting still. 10 seconds. Where will lifting of corporate wheel happen? A, C or B? 5 seconds more. In case you are answering, 5 seconds more, I'll wait. Okay, let's move to the answer then. Sir, lifting of corporate wheel will happen on the company C. Sir, why exactly C? Because it is C company behind which we are looking into, and we are finding that it is actually A who has made the company C just to evade the bonus. So lifting of corporate wheel will happen on the company C. Here we go. So general contents, I guess your answer was wrong, and I hope it is now clear that why it is C and why not A. Behind C we are looking and we found A. So you said A, but it is actually C. I hope it is now clear. Meha and general contents, your answers were wrong, I guess. The fourth one, not very important. Sir, in case the holding company will not be given the license, then subsidiary will also not be given a license. So basically holding and subsidiary are two different separate entities, two different companies. But if holding is denied a license, then subsidiary will also be denied the license. Not very important. Let's move to the very important one, which is the fifth one, which is Guilford Motor Company versus Horn. Guilford Motor Company versus Horn, a very important case law from an exam point of view. So basically I'll come to the conclusion directly. In case there are the two persons that are there, one is Guilford Motor Company and one is Horn. So Horn was basically an employee in Guilford Motor Company. He was working there. Now basically there was a contract between Guilford Motor Company and Horn, and the contract was for 6 years that if Horn leaves the company, Horn was an employee. If Horn leaves the company within 6 years, he cannot solicit the customers of Guilford Motor Company. This was the contract. So Horn basically left the company after 2.5 years. Horn left the company after 2.5 years, trying to start his own business. Now the problem was he was not getting any customers. He was not getting any customers. So he basically applied the mind. He started soliciting the customers of Guilford Motor Company by the name of the company of Horn. Basically Horn formed a company and was soliciting the customers of Guilford Motor Company. Now when Guilford Motor Company asked Horn that why are you doing this, why are you breaching a contract, Horn says the contract was between you and me. See, I am not soliciting the customers of yours. My company is soliciting. The Horn is replying, let's see, the contract was between the Guilford Motor Company and me, Horn. Now the solicitation is done not by me, but my company. And company is a separate legal entity. So there is no breach of contract. The matter went to the court and Horn lost the case because the court said the formation of the company by Horn had only one intention, and that was overcoming the contract and soliciting the customers of Guilford Motor. So let's come to the bottom line. In case you happen to see in the exam the word solicit in the Companies Act question, which will be question 1B, question 2B, question 2, question 3B. In case you happen to find the word solicit anywhere in the question of Companies Act asking about corporate corporate wheel, then understand that they are talking about this topic, that is Guilford Motor Company versus Horn, where a company was formed just to overpass, just to go beyond the contract. Such a big case law it is. In your ICA module, it has been given only for 1.5 pages. In your ICA module, it has been given only for 1.5 pages. So the important word here is the word solicit. I hope we are clear. All there on YouTube live. Please tell me once if you are clear. Meha, Sangeeta, general contents, reality, Mukesh. General content says yes sir, question is asked in the test paper. So general contents, you now know the hack that if I happen to find the word solicit, then it is this case. Waiting for others in case they are able to understand this. Done with corporate wheel concept. Done with corporate wheel concept. Meha Jain says yes sir. Meha Jain says yes sir. Not very sure about the others, what they are doing. Going directly to Sales of Goods Act. Going directly to Sales of Goods Act. Unit number 3 is what I was asked about. Expecting it is now clear. Okay, so we are only left with unit number 3, Sales of Goods Act, and unit number 4 of Sales of Goods Act. I'll tell you all the important questions that are there in unit number 3. Please mark 23.1 as super important. Whichever book you're referring to, please mark this question as very important. Sale of uncertain goods by description and appropriation. Please mark this as very important for your January 2025 attempt. Okay. The first question that I marked is this. Then sale or return basis has already been asked, so not marking it as important. The next one I'll mark is this, exceptions. Exceptions of Nemo det quod non habet. Exceptions of Nemo det quod non habet. Second important question for your exams. That's it. 2 important topics in unit number 3. Okay, let's cover both of them quickly. Super important they are from your examination point of view. And I want you to listen to me very carefully because these are difficult topics. So I will need your utmost attention, and like I said already, these are important topics for your exams. A bit thinner. Let's say these are Kashmiri apples. And then we have another category of apples. Let's say these are anything, okay? Goa apples. I'm writing anything, okay? Just to understand. Goa apples. Okay. So basically now, this is Mr. A and this is Mr. B. I'll explain it once. So you need to be very careful. Okay. So A is basically passing by from the shop, the fruit shop, and he basically instructs to B. He says, please pack for me 1 kg of Kashmiri apples. Please, A saying to B that please pack for me, please pass her for me 1 kg of apples. The payment will be done afterwards. There is no stipulation as to when the payment will be made and all. Payment will be made afterwards. So basically A says to B that please pack for me 1 kg of apples. I will come back after purchasing the other items. B says okay sir. So basically A goes ahead. Now this is your first point. This is your first point. I'll reconcile every point for you. This is first point. There is a contract for the sale of unascertain or future goods. Now here we have a contract of sale of unascertain goods because these Kashmiri apples are in a bunch. These are in a bunch. Like we don't know which 1 kg of apples will be taken out. So this is reconciling your first point, which the first point says that sir, the contract is for sale of unascertain goods or future goods. So this is for unascertain goods. Okay. Moving forward. Now this guy, Mr. B, takes out 1 kg of Kashmiri apples. So this was 1 and this is 2. Mr. B takes out the Kashmiri apples 1 kg. This is your second point. The goods should conform means match. The goods should conform to the description and quality stated in the contract. So we had stated Kashmiri apples. So basically what he has taken out is 1 kg of Kashmiri apples only. So this is your point number 2. Let's move to point number 3. So this guy basically puts up these apples in a box. This guy, Mr. B, puts these apples in a box, which basically means they are now in deliverable state, which is your third point. The goods must be in deliverable state. So they are parcel kept ready in a box so that A can come and just take away the box. So this is your 1, 2 and 3. This is your 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Let's move further. After coming back from after purchasing other items, Mr. A will basically come in, take the apples and go away, which basically means we have point number 4, which is unconditional appropriation. Mr. A will just come back, take the box, take the apples and just go away, which basically means we have unconditional appropriation. There are no conditions, there is no if and but. It is unconditional appropriation. Money may be paid afterwards. There is no condition as such that first you have to pay the money and then I will give you the apples. There is nothing like that. It is unconditional appropriation. I'll just take the apples and just go away. This is point number 4. Then let's come to point number 5. From this point, we will have point number 5, 6 and 7. What you need to understand is, so this appropriation can be of 2 types. In my example, it was appropriation being done by the seller with the consent of buyer, because the buyer A had told the seller that please take away 1 kg apples from your stock. So basically the appropriation is happening by the seller with the assent of buyer. It can be vice versa also. Sir, appropriation can be done by buyer with the assent of seller. Like in case you happen to go to D-Mart, in case you happen to go to Big Bazaar or some supermarket, basically it is the buyer who is appropriating the apples. So by the buyer with the assent of seller can also be a case. The next one, sir, this appropriation can be the assent. This is basically with respect to assent. That appropriation is done by the seller with the assent of buyer, or appropriation is done by the buyer with the assent of the seller. Now this assent can be either express or implied. Like in my example, it was an express assent that please take out 1 kg of apples. It can be implied also. Like if you go to D-Mart to purchase apples, you don't go and ask at the counter that can I appropriate apples of 1 kg. It is implied that you can on your own take the apples that you are wanting. So in case of supermarkets, we have implied assent. In my example, it was express assent. And this assent again can be before or after appropriation. This assent can be before or after the appropriation. So in my example, it was appropriation was done basically after me telling him to do the so. Okay. And here we are, all the 7 cases in front of you. The goods must be unconditionally appropriated. Appropriation must be made by seller with the assent of buyer or buyer with the assent of seller. The next, assent may be express or implied. Next, assent may be given either before or after the appropriation. And here we are with all the points in front of you. So if you know the examples, the flow of the concept, it is very easy for you to remember. So I've made this for you to understand the topic very easily. That okay sir, if you can just recall in the mind that the contract was basically for sale of uncertain goods. Point number 2, I can see that sir, basically the goods should be conforming with the description, the Kashmiri apples that are being taken out. Number 3, sir, it should be made in deliverable state. Number 4, it should be unconditional appropriation. Number 5, the appropriation can be by the buyer with the assent of seller or seller with the assent of buyer. Next, assent can be express or implied. Next, assent can be given before or after the appropriation. Best possible way in the world to make you understand section number 23 subsection 1. Please tell me, are we clear? Please tell me, are we clear with the example? I will wait for your messages. The easiest possible way in the world to understand section 23 subsection 1. Are we clear? Are we clear? All the 7 points there in front of your screen. All the 7 points there in front of your screen. Very good. General content says yes sir. Nandini yes sir. Sangeeta yes sir. Mehajan yes sir. Wow. Tanuja says yes sir. Wow. And mark my words, this should be there in your January 2025 attempt. This question worth 4 to 6 marks. This I am expecting there to be on examinations. Okay, mark it important. The second important topic is obviously this transfer of title by non-owners. See, we all understand only the owner is the person who can sell his goods, who can pledge his goods, who can destroy his goods. So it is basically the owner who has all the rights in the goods. So now there is a normal topic that a person with a good title can pass a good title. A person with a bad title can pass only a bad title. And that is what is nemo det quod non habet, which basically means no one can give what he has not got. No one can give what he has not got. Only the things of which you are the owner, you can sell it. If you are not the owner, you cannot sell it. Because a person with bad title will pass only a bad title. Moving further, we are studying the exceptions. We are studying the exceptions. So exceptions obviously important, very important. Exception obviously means even a non-owner can transfer a good title. You need to understand the concept first. The sir exception basically means even a non-owner can pass a good title. Easy, very easy. Let me come to point number first, which is sale by mercantile agent. Sale by mercantile agent. I'll make you understand with a diagram. So we have principal, agent and a third party. Principal, agent and a third party. Principal tells the agent that please sell my car for rupees at least 10 lakhs. Sell my car for rupees 10 lakhs at least. Agent says okay. Now agent goes to a third party and contracts with the third party to sell it for rupees 7 lakhs. Basically, agent did not do what he was told to do. Obviously, third party is unaware of this fact. Third party is acting in good faith. He is not knowing any terms and conditions that principal had told the agent that the car should be sold for at least 10 lakhs. Third party is not knowing this. He is acting in good faith. Now the lawmaker says, sir, even though this agent is a non-owner, I'll write NO, non-owner, even then there will be a valid pass of title from agent to the third party, which basically means now principal will have to sell the car at 7 lakhs to the third party. So sale is basically done by the agent who is the non-owner. This is your point number one. This is your point number one. Sale by mercantile agent. Sale by mercantile agent. I have covered all the points. I have covered all the points. You can obviously draw these diagrams. You can obviously draw these diagrams from the YouTube. This video will be there kept on YouTube. You can obviously after the lecture can write all the diagrams on your own from seeing it from the lecture. Right now I want you to understand the concepts. Understand the concepts. You can draw these later on. So right now don't focus upon writing these. I want you to focus on my words, my explanation and my examples. Copying can be done afterwards also. So this is the first case. Let's come to the second case. Let's come to the second case. Let's say we have a car. Let's say we have a car which is owned by A and B, which is owned by A and B jointly. A and B jointly own the car. Let's say it is a very costly car. So the two brothers A and B are basically jointly owning this car. Now the possession of this car is with B. The possession of this car is with B with the assent of A. So A himself has agreed that the possession will right now be kept with B. So basically B has the car. Now what B does is he sells the car to C. He sells the car to C. C obviously is acting in good faith. C obviously is acting in good faith. He doesn't know that B is not the absolute owner. He doesn't know this. The reality is the car is being owned by A and B jointly. But C does not know this. C is acting in good faith. The lawmaker says C will get a good title. Although B is not the absolute owner, still being partly non-owner, he can transfer the title to the third party. So only two conditions are there. The first condition, the possession of the car was with the consent of the other co-owner. First point. Second, the third party acted in good faith. The third party acted in good faith. So the first two cases here in front of you. This is first, this is second. That is sale by one of the joint owners. You can see in front of you. I hope we are clear with the easy diagrams. Please tell me once. I am explaining to you all the points that are there in your textbook. Are we clear with the first two cases? Here I'll write B, partial non-owner, partial non-owner, partial non-owner. Are we clear? Are we clear? Are we clear? We'll wait for your messages. Point number three. Point number three. So we basically have a gold shop of which A is the owner. Mr. B comes to the shop with a gun in his hand. Mr. B comes to the shop with a gun in his hand and tells A that sell me the shop for ₹1. Sell me the shop for ₹1. Okay. This is outright section number 15, which is coercion. This is outright coercion, section number 15 of Indian Contract Act. So obviously A will give away the whole shop to B. Now A is the agreed party. A is the agreed party. Let's say this incident happened at 1 p.m. A goes to the police. A goes to the police at 3 p.m. But before 3 p.m., Mr. B sells the shop to Mr. C at, let's say, 2 p.m. Mr. B sells the car to Mr. C at 2 p.m. before A could approach the police. And obviously C is acting in good faith. C is acting in good faith. He doesn't know that this shop has been bought by B at ₹1 by coercion. C doesn't know this. In that case, C will get a good title. C will get a good title. Here B obviously is the non-owner, because the contract we just discussed has been turned from voidable to void. But that was done at 3 p.m. Before that, B already sold the shop to Mr. C. and hence C will get a good title, although B is the non-owner. This is your third case, which is sale by a person in possession under voidable contract. This was a voidable contract. Coercion, we all know the effect of coercion is the contract becoming voidable. Fourth and fifth easy points. I'll jump to fourth point first. Let's say Mr. A went to decathlon. Mr. A went to decathlon, looked at the bicycle and liked the bicycle worth 2000 and buys it. Decathlon says, okay sir, take the delivery, here is your bill and here is your cycle, please take the delivery. A says, no, I want the delivery after 2 days. It is just that this was the last day of the discount and hence I came today to buy the bicycle. I'm basically going out of town, so I'll collect the bicycle after 2 days. Can you please keep it for me for 2 days? Decathlon says, okay sir, we'll keep the bicycle for you for the next 2 days. And Mr. A goes away. So what we understood is A is the owner right now. Although the possession is Decathlon, but the owner is Mr. A because the bill was already made and the payment was already made. Now after A goes away, Decathlon sells the same bicycle to Mr. B. Sells the same bicycle to Mr. B. Obviously, Mr. B should be acting in good faith, not knowing that the bicycle has already been sold. Mr. B should be acting in good faith. So here Decathlon is the non-owner, but he will pass a valid title to Mr. B. Very easy. I'm writing everything, owner, non-owner, good faith, everything I'm writing over here. So if you just see my drawing carefully, you'll understand the whole concept. Number 5. Simple. Again, Mr. A goes to Decathlon. Plans to buy a bicycle worth rupees 2 lakhs. A bicycle with motor and everything. Plans to buy the bicycle for rupees 2 lakhs. Now before buying it, obviously A says that I want to do KV tempter. I will basically take a test drive. Decathlon says, okay sir, take a test drive. So before buying it, he is the owner, Decathlon. Before buying it, A says, I want a test drive. Now, by the excuse of taking it for a test drive, A basically goes to B and sells the bicycle. Obviously, A is the non-owner. Obviously, A is the non-owner. And obviously, B has to act in good faith. In that case, Mr. B will get a good title, even though A is a non-owner. So basically, fourth and fifth point are similar to each other. Okay, I've written everything over there. Who is the owner? Who is the non-owner? What are the conditions? Everything is present in my diagram. So even after the lecture, if you just happen to see the diagram again, you will understand what I'm trying to teach. Sixth, effect of Estoffel. I think we all understand Estoffel already, that once you have said something, you cannot deny the fact. Once you have said something, you cannot deny that very fact. So let's say A is the owner of a car. In the presence of A, Mr. B says to Mr. C that I want to sell this very car for rupees 3 lakhs. In the presence of A, B is saying it to C. B cannot do this because he is not the owner, he is non-owner. Owner is A. But even after listening to this, A does not say anything. In that case, if C is acting in good faith, C will become the owner of the car. And now A cannot say this, that no, this is my car, B cannot sell it. No, this is what is Estoffel. That once you have said something, you will be stopped from denying it afterwards. This is Estoffel. The last two cases are easy. This is the next unit itself, sale by unpaid seller. That being an unpaid seller, you get 3 rights. One right is lien, one is stoppage in transit, and the other one is resale. So if you are an unpaid seller and you don't get the money for your goods, assuming the goods are in your possession or you got it by stoppage in transit, you can sell it to someone else, a subsequent buyer. You can sell it and the sale will be valid. Even though the owner is the original buyer, but because he did not pay you the money, you became unpaid seller. and as an unpaid seller, you are selling it to a subsequent buyer. The subsequent buyer will get a good title because this is a right to resale of the unpaid seller. I think it is something we understand already. And the 8th point is miscellaneous. That in case you took a loan from a bank and did not repay the money to the bank can obviously sell your estate. This is again in case of if a company liquidates, all the assets of the company will get in control of the liquidator, and now liquidator will one by one sell all the assets to pay off the liabilities. So liquidator is the non-owner because owner is the company. The last one, if you are finder of lost goods and you cannot find the owner, the expenses have already been incurred which are 2/3 of the value, then obviously you can sell the goods. So this is miscellaneous, and these are the 8 points. Out of the 8 points, I have drawn diagram at 6 places. I would want you that after the lecture, just pause at the diagrams and see them at least one more time. Are we clear? This is a very huge topic. I tried to cover it in less than 15 minutes with all the diagrams. Are we clear? Are we clear? Asking to those who are replying, Meha, Mukesh, Tanuja, Sangeeta, Nandini, general contents that are there right now online. Are we clear with this? A very important topic for your January 2025 attempt. Are we clear? Are we clear? General content says, yes, sir. Meha Jain says, yes, sir. Wow, very good. Others, not very sure. No reply yet from others. We are unit number 4. Waiting for your messages. Sangeeta says, clear, sir. Okay, nice. Thank you. Okay. Marking all the important topics first. Natari says, yes, sir. Nandi, thank you. I hope you have liked the video. I hope you have liked the video. And see, once the lecture is over, once the lecture gets over, after the lecture is over, I want you to put in a comment that I want the notes, and we'll share the notes with you. Okay. You need to comment after the lecture is over. Means after I am not live anymore. Then please write in the comment in case you don't have the book that, sir, we want the PDF. We'll share it with you. We will share it with you. Okay. Moving further. Unpaid seller, important topics. I'll quickly mark. We have already studied this. We have already studied this. As an unpaid seller, you did not get the money, or the money that you received was not 100%, or the check got bounced. You get the following rights. We discuss this right now. Lien, stoppage in transit, and right of resale. We just discussed right of resale. Under this, the most important topic obviously is section number 50. Please mark it important. Please mark this very important. Right of stoppage in transit is exercised in the following conditions. Right of stoppage in transit is exercised in the following conditions. Please mark this as the most important question for your exams. Basically, for stopping the goods in transit, there are a few criteria. The first one obviously has to be that you are an unpaid seller. You are an unpaid seller. Then only you can get the right of stopping the goods in transit. So the first point, you are an unpaid seller. Point number 2, you have parted with the possession of the goods. The goods have gone out from your possession, because still the goods are in your possession. You can always exercise right of lien. So goods have gone out of your possession. You have parted with the possession of the goods. Third, the goods are still in transit. The goods are still in transit. Fourth, the buyer has become insolvent. And fifth, you have followed all the other provisions of the act. Here we are, all the 5 points. The seller must be unpaid, parted with the possession of the goods, goods are in transit, buyer has become insolvent, and the right is subject to provisions of the act, section number 50. Super duper important for your attempt. Super duper important for your attempt. Let me search if I can find any other. Okay, I'll do right of resale. A theory question, I would say, right of unpaid seller against the buyer. A theory question worth 4 to 5 marks. Right of the above that we are studying was right of unpaid seller against the goods. This is right of unpaid seller against the buyer. A theory question. You can take and drag him to the court. You can claim damages. You can rescind the contract. You can take interest. Easy points, I would say. the 4 points, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, suit for price, you can take him to the court, you can claim obviously damages, you can cancel the contract, and you can obviously sue for interest. Okay, so I'll come to this point, right of resale. I'll draw a very meticulous and very important and very easy diagram. Just focus on the diagram. So basically there's a contract between the seller, unpaid seller, and the buyer. The contract was basically for sale of, let's say, 10 kg rice at rupees, let's say rupees 3000. The rice was in possession of the unpaid seller. The buyer did not pay the money. The buyer did not pay the money. So obviously as an unpaid seller, I have a right to resale. So after giving notice to the buyer, I can resell the goods to another buyer. So there can be two cases. From here to here, notice needs to be given. Now let's say this notice was given. The notice was not given. If the notice was given, we can have further two cases. The rice was subsequently sold for rupees 3200, or it was sold only for rupees 2500. Another case, sir, notice was not given and it was sold for 3200, or it was sold for 2500. Easy, super easy. Now moving further, notice is to be given, that is for sure. As per law, notice has to be given that please pay me the money, this is the last warning, otherwise I will sell the goods to someone else. Now if this notice is given, in that case the extra rupees 200 that we are getting as an unpaid seller, this extra 200 rupees belongs to the unpaid seller. In case of a deficit of 500, you can recover it from the buyer. You can recover it from the buyer. On the contrary, if notice is not given and the goods are sold for 3200, the extra 200 basically belongs to the buyer, and the deficit of 500 cannot be recovered from the buyer. This is the summary. This is the summary. A very fantastic diagram. You will not find this anywhere in the world. I just want you to understand what I've just tried to teach you. That basically, sir, what are the consequences if notice is given, and what are the consequences if notices are not given. There one more point in this. The other point says that in case the goods are perishable in nature, then notice need not be given. Notice need not be given, and you will basically fall in this area. If the goods are perishable in nature, in that case, you will fall under this set, and no notice is required to be given. Or the third case, if the contract itself says that no notice is required to be given, then again you will fall under this set. Are we clear? A wonderful diagram to portray the big concept, 2 pages worth of concept. Are we clear? Waiting for your messages. Waiting for your messages. Not very sure if you have liked the video. Not very sure if you have liked the video. But let me at least tell me if you are clear with the concept. Meanwhile, I'll search if I can find anything more important, anything for your exams. Else, we'll just end the lecture. We have discussed this already. Right of unpaid seller against the buyer. I would say important theory question. Important theory question. You can even look at this once. Rights of buyer against the seller. Meya Jain, yes sir. Yes, general contents, you can just look at the same. This is what we discussed. Here we are. 54. This is what we discussed. Okay. Mr. General Contents. Okay. So theory question, this one. The second question from unit number 3. The third question from unit number 4. The third question unit number 4. Second question unit number 4. And the first question unit number 4. 3 questions I told you from unit number 4. Apart from this, auction sale was already asked in the June 24 attempt. It was there, I guess, again in December 23 attempt. So not very important. I will still discuss with you the auction sale. See, basically have 6 points in auction sale. I want you to forget the textbook. Listen to me. The last topic that we are doing for the day. Auction sale basically has 6 points. Section 64. The first point says that, sir, in case of sale by lots, suppose I imported 10,000 Nike shoes from USA. Now I cannot sell 10,000 Nike shoes to one particular buyer. So what I'll do is I'll break 10,000 shoes into 1,000 shoes, 10 different lots of 1,000 each, and I will do the auction of each lot separately. Like in IPL we first have the lot of batsmen, then we have a lot of bowlers, then the wicket keepers. In the same way, every lot will have a different auction. That is the first point. Second is something that we know already, which is a tacit contract, which basically says that, sir, in case of sale by auction, the sale gets completed at the fall of hammer. Something that we know already. Now let's come to the third point, which says, sir, when a person of the seller sits in the bid, it is basically you have notified the other bidders that, see, one of my person will be there bidding along with you. In case the bidding does not rise to my expectations, my person will basically bid for this and purchase it. If you have notified this to other bidders, it is allowed. The fourth case says you have not informed the other bidders and your person is sitting there in the bidding and inflating the prices. Now in that case, it is fraudulent. This is point number 4. Point number 5, again something we know already, that we have something called reserved price from where the bidding starts. And lastly, we have point number 6, which says in case of fraudulent bidding, the contract is voidable. And here we are, all the 6 points. Goods are sold in lots, separate contract of sale. Each lot is a separate contract of sale. Number 2, completion of the contract of sale, that is at the fall of hammer. Here we are, fall of hammer. Number 3, right to bid may be reserved. Then it is okay, it is allowed. But not otherwise. Right to bid may be reserved. Okay. 4th, if it is not notified, it is fraudulent. If it is fraudulent, it is voidable. And the last, reserve price. So not very important from your attempt, but okay, I felt like that, okay, let's do this topic as well. So we did basically 2 important topics from unit number 3. We did 5 important topics from unit number 4. We did corporate wheel. We did lifting of corporate wheel. We did 5 important case laws of lifting of corporate wheel. All of it done in less than 1 hour. All of it done in less than 1 hour with all the diagrams that I happen to do in the class as well. So all I expect is you liking the video, obviously, which I don't show. I'm not sure, don't know that why don't you like the video, and comment obviously if you are able to understand or not. So B and C again, please. So I'll give you an example. Suppose I want to sell this water bottle. I'm expecting this bottle will fetch at least 1 crore rupees. This is what my expectation is. Let's say this is a rare water bottle from which the Akbar used to drink the water. Let's say this is that water bottle. I'm expecting this bottle will fetch, let's say, 10 crore rupees. Now at the bidding, if the bidders come and nobody is bidding for more than 2 crores, I will obviously suffer a loss. So one of my person in the bidding will be sitting over there and he will bid 10 crores and take this bottle. So that my benefit will be that this bottle does not gets sold for less than its value. This is allowed to be done if it is informed to other buyers. This is your point number C. This is your point number C. And B basically says a tacit contract that auction sale is completed at the fall of hammer. Once the hammer falls, the sale is complete. You must have seen IPL auctions, I guess. Yes, sir. Are we clear? Are we clear? Everything that was asked from me, from your side, I have discussed the topic. I will discuss even further topics, even more topics I will be discussing, but that will be before the exams, the last day revision exam. I will be providing you this textbook of 200 pages. I will provide you one more textbook worth only 50 pages covering 100% syllabus. All of that will be fruitful if and only if you study hard. See, you need to understand, all those that are watching right now, if you happen to see cricket and a T20 cricket, this is basically the final over. This is the 19th and the 20th over, the last 2 overs of the T20 match. I think we all know how crucial these 2 overs are. Basically, the fate of a match gets decided by the last 2 overs of the T20 match. So these 10-15 days that you have will decide your fate about passing or failing. So I'll not talk much. I'm not one of those who is a motivator, but I'll just give you a reality check that, sir, this is the time that you should be putting your 110%. If you put in your 110% right now, you will definitely pass. So that's all I have to say. We are going to obviously meet one more time on 13th and 14th of January. I will be conducting live YouTube session where I will be doing the writing practice as well, where I will be covering 100% syllabus of the whole CA Foundation Law. 100%, mind you, all the topics. So yeah, let's meet on 13th and 14th January then. You will get the link of the video, don't worry. You will get the PDF of the notes, don't worry. So we shall meet again soon on 13th and 14th of January for the last time for CA Foundation. Then we'll directly meet in CA Inter. So for now, this is me signing off. I hope you understood everything that we discussed in the class. So many important topics, so many important chapters we covered. Expecting it is all clear with you people. I think I should leave now. Yes, sir. I hope it is clear with you, all the topics that we discussed. I hope I helped you a bit with your weak concepts and the problem areas that you had. Is it? I hope it was fruitful. I hope these lectures, the 6-7 days that we took, should have helped you a lot. We covered the whole of unit number 7, unit number 8, unit number 9 of Contract Act, the whole of it, because they are very important, worth around 15-20 marks at least. Then we covered all the major topics of Sales of Goods Act, unit number 3 and 4, important topic of Companies Act, important topic of Negotiable Instrument Act. So I hope it was fruitful, and this is all that I have to say. Signing off. Thank you so much and bye. Hope the lectures were helpful. All the best for your exams. We shall meet soon. Bye and bye.